have to admit I'm kind of goofing off here, but I'm gonna use the word for today, which hit me like a brick last night. I'm watching Noel Grayson videos. If you don't know who Noel Grayson is, look him up. YouTube, Noel Grayson. Great stuff. Discovered Talon Silverhorn last night too. But it suddenly hit me. Intention. When it comes to wooden bows, it's not just so much of it's a bow, it's springs, this is how you make one, this is what it can do, but the intention, what it means, how it relates to people. We all know that. I'm not telling you anything new. But where was I going with this thing? I don't know. Lost my train of thought. Went right off the rails. Just like old 97. But what I have is neat stuff to show you. In this grouping of neat stuff, and I will come closer to the camera, do not be afraid, was gifted to me by G at Warpath Archery. If you haven't done so far, go to Warpath Archery's website. It's actually, I think he goes through a Facebook. I don't do Facebook, so I'm guessing here, but I'm pretty sure Warpath Archery Facebook. And look at G's stuff. And maybe even say, John sent me to your Facebook, if you're not familiar with G's work. But anyway, I traded G for a bow, and I do very little trading. I mean, I don't want to make anyone feel bad, but, you know, if I want to trade you for this or that or the other thing, the answer probably will be no. There's a very select few people that I will trade with. Especially now, because I've got my regular job to do, and in bowing, all I'm going to do is clean up the stuff that I've started. But anyway, traded a bow to G. Kind of a you finish thing, because he's going to finish it with his slant and then give it to somebody. And he sent me the coolest care package. First of all, a case-skinned raccoon pelt. This is nice. And case skin means, you know, it's kind of like a raccoon sock. I'm planning on using it for a quiver. If I ever get around to making it short, sinew back U bow, I think this will be part of the set. A basket. And my wife is not in the baskets, but she wants this basket. And I said, what G said, I'm supposed to tie it to a pole in my teepee. So she's going, well, if G said that, then you have to tie it to a pole in a teepee. I'm not going to say anything, because I believe my brother-in-laws watch my videos. I'm not trying to cheat your sis. If she really wants a basket, I'll give it to her, I promise. And G worked on a series for HBO. I believe it was called Westworld. If you saw that, G made the bows and the arrows for that. And I've got a whole bunch of trade points that were left over that he included in this care package. Very much appreciated, because I will use those. A large predator claw. I'm not going to bring that out. Loose sage. It'll go good in the fire. A little bit at a time. What else did G send me in my care package? Oh, a smudge stick that's a blend of sage and sweetgrass. The hair of Mother Earth. North. Sweetgrass is the plant that represents north, along with the color white. And then sage and lavender. Smudge stick. Wish you could sniff that. That is good for sniffing. This is really kind. It kind of gives you an impression of G. He sent me a bunch of these. They're very thick. You know, I suppose they could be worked down to be actual real bone points. But to note that you can give these to kids. He's a good guy. Bearberry. Kinnikinnick. Mix, that's what it means in certain languages. If you were to just take the regular native tobacco and just dry it and smoke it, it would knock you on your butt, because it takes fermentation to lower the nicotine levels, to moderate them, and so you'd mix it down. Mix. Says what 'tis. And we've got a set of coyote claws. Because not only does he make bows and arrows, he does really fine quivers and other artwork. Porcupine claws. And an empty pouch. I admit. Sent me an empty bag. It was not empty when he sent it. Going along with quality of personage that is our friend G. For Earl. I've got a vole that lives in the teepee. Got this cardboard box with a little Earl hole in it, and I stuffed it full of hay. And he didn't want Earl to go hungry, so G sent Earl some sunflower seeds and some other nuts. So I've already spread those. Now, this was the cool stuff that G sent. Here's a note. This is that black locust bow I'm working on. Now, if you're going to do, say, rakish designs, you can see I did blue in this field, the 4 directions. I first did it in black, and then I went around it with the, or went over the black with the blue, so you can still see the black, kind of a irregular line work around there. And it gives it a really cool effect. And then here's prairie rattlesnake skin and the handle. Oh, and this is a note. I mentioned in a video that, or two, that when I do the tip wraps, look how neat and how tight and bonded that is. You know, as far as wait till the sinew is dry on the back, and then I do my wraps instead of just sinew backing and wrapping. Because this is what can happen. These are temporary wraps that are over the backing right here that I just put on to keep that sinew down so it won't lift up on the inside curve of this carbuncle, that bump. And when you put your wraps on right after you sinew back, this is what they could look like, because the back will shrink up quite a bit and the wrap might not, because it'll dry first, and it'll lift off. I could literally just take a razor blade and slice into this wrap and it'll just peel off. It is not stuck to the backing. It is not stuck to the wood. Sam I am. Not like this wrap that was put on there after the sinew was dry. And I had temporary wraps right here to keep when it shrunk in the first processes of the back drying. You know, I took them off because now it's stuck down, and as it shrinks, it's not going to pull away. It's going to bring that tip in the more recurve, and that's about it. That's the neat stuff as far as this bow. Now, what's my favorite bow style? Depends on what day it is. I kind of like these long bows now, and so I hawk-eyed an American elm that's got the most beautiful straight, no branching for a long way up. It's about this big in diameter, and so I might take that. I might take that in the spring when I can slip the bark off it and use the bark for quivers and stuff like that too. You know, and not just draw knife it off dry. The thing about elm, though, is it has a tendency to twist when it dries. You don't take it like an ash. You get an ash, you split it into staves, let it dry. You paint the ends, you know, most people do, so it doesn't dry too fast, and check on the ends. You're good, it dries. But elm, man, if you tried that, first of all, it's hard to split. Whatever, you know, you split it. But if you split it in the staves, those pie-shaped things, and put it in the corner, come back in a couple months, they're all going to be propeller twisted. That's what I've seen. And so the best way to handle that is you take your round, your log, cut a little extra length, you know. I'm going to make 67-inch bows out of it, so I'm going to cut it to 72 in case there's some splitting on the ends. But you don't split them in the staves. What you do is you run a circular saw or a chainsaw down the side, nice straight line, and you can tell if it's going to be a straight trunk and not like twisted grain from the bark. But you take the log and split it down to the center. You don't cut it in half, you just split it right down to the center, stem to stern, and so when it dries, it'll just open up. You've created the crack, which is inevitable, but you've controlled it. And all that wood around that log, it'll take a long time to dry. Trust me. I'll be making bows out of it next year sometime. But it won't dry twisted. Anyway, that's the handy tip of the day, along with black lettering, along with wrapping the permanent ones after the back is dried. And you're going to go to G's Facebook, and if you've got HBO, which I don't, watch Westworld. It's your assignment. Have a good one.